welcome back. In this video, we're going to be decorating our football cookie. This one, we just need brown and white, and for the brown, I'm going to have mostly flood consistency with a little bit of detail consistency. I already had some brown detail mixed up and bagged already, so here is my detail in brown. I already had some white detail consistency bagged up already, so here is my white detail. Okay, let's start. I'm going to trim the tip off, pretty small. And what we're going to do with our football is we're going to want to do the top half first. We're going to let that dry to let it crust over, and then we'll come back and we'll do the bottom half. And that way we will have a nice seam in our football to make it look a little bit more realistic. So here we go. Start right at the corner. Going around all those little details here, coming down here to this corner. All right, now we will flood our cookie. Okay, and then I'm going to take my scribe and swirl the icing out until it touches all of the outline edges. Beautiful. All right, that's that. Now you're going to want to set this aside. Like I said, let it crust over for a few hours or overnight, and then we'll come right back and work on the bottom half of the football. Okay, I have my cookie here. It sat out overnight. Just keep in mind that the crusting buttercream, while it does crust over, it does not dry solid, hard like royal icing would. So you still have to be gentle with it. Don't push down on it because you will still make a dent. All right, let's go ahead and draw on the bottom half of our football, and then we will fill that in. Let's start over here at the edge. And meet up right back at the corner. So I'm squeezing a little bit harder now to get that flood going. I'm going to come in with my scribe and just gently move it up just until it touches the existing icing, and that way we should be left with a nice line that will show the seam on the football. And you can wipe your scribe off on your paper towel if it gets a little bit too much icing on it. All right, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So we have a nice natural looking seam that makes our football look like it has the seam going down it. All right, so here's something really interesting. I am not a football person. I don't really follow sports in general. I basically just do cookies, and these happen to be sports themed cookies. But I learned something that you might find interesting. So a lot of times when you see people decorating a football cookie, they have these two white lines going down either side of the cookie in addition to the white laces at the top. But if you are doing cookies for an NFL team, like the Super Bowl or any NFL game, you actually should not put the two white lines on either side, because those white lines are actually only on the footballs of college teams and younger. So since we are doing an NFL themed football set here, I will not be adding the white lines on either side of the football. But if you want to, for your use, if you're doing a football that is going to be for some type of party celebrating a college football or high school or kids, then by all means add those white lines onto the outsides. But we're not, so I'm only going to be using my white to do some laces at the top. Okay, so the first thing I always do is just pinch off the icing from the tip of my little icing bag here, because it'll crust up right there and you don't want to get that on your cookie. You always want a nice clean tip of your bag ready for decorating. All right, we're just gonna draw a little curved line up here at the top of our football coming across, and then I'm just going to do my little laces. And because of the fact that we let this dry ahead of time, our laces will not sink down into the icing, which makes them stand up and look a little more realistic, which is kind of fun. All right, now finally, I have my detail consistency of the brown. All right, now if you look at what a football looks like, it does have a little bit of kind of brown detail work on the football around the laces. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little kind of wavy line underneath the laces to accent that part of the football, which is kind of what they actually have. And there we go. That's it. So there's our beautiful football. It has its nice details, and I'm sure it tastes delicious too. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the class, and I'll see you next time.